Okay, I just bought the Simpson 3600 PSI pressure washer, PS 60842. Got it at Lowe's, has the Honda engine, 3600 PSI. I wanted a little oomph without going too sky high on the price. The machine looks nice. The instructions are pretty easy. Putting it together is easy. Just a couple of little knobs here to put this handle on. You have to replace a plug here. This hole I thought was weird. What's going on there? I called the company. They said it's just for venting. So it's normal. Even though there's a hole, it's normal. This had a brass plug in it. This is supposedly a breather plug, so you just replace that, not a big deal. Wand, everything, you just screw it on. Very simple. Has instructions all over it. The instruction manual is not hard, although there's a ton of paperwork you got to sift through, but you got easy manuals. Do read the manuals, you know, and should be fine. It's not difficult to put together. I'll use it tomorrow and I'll let you know how it works. I am disappointed in this hose. I'm going to buy another hose. This hose is rated at 3,700 PSI, which my machine is a 3,600 PSI machine. So, I mean, I have 100 PSI extra strength in this hose, which I think is ridiculous, and that hose is, I'm sure it's going to bubble and it's not going to last. So I'm going to get a new machine. I need a new hose, and the way I understand it, you see this comes with a twist-on connector. The new hose is going to come with a quick connect, so I'm going to have to add a quick connect to my machine and to my wand. I'm going to get a 50-foot steel braided hose. Going to get a good one. You know, it's going to end up costing me $100 with the connections. Sorry for the noise. And so anyway, that's disappointing that they would give you this cheesy hose. Why put a hose on here? I wouldn't even add a hose to the machine. Just forget the hose and just say hose not included so people can buy whatever hose they want. All right, thanks a lot, and I'll review it tomorrow after I use it. Well, I've sprayed a little bit and it's working pretty good. I will crank it up, spray, try to video. It's going to be hard. I'll be spraying with one hand, of course. Really kind of takes two hands to hold that wand. Pressure's good. Took me several times to get it cranked up, but that's because the instructions, I think, are misleading. They tell you just to turn the throttle up 1/3. I pulled 4 or 5 times, wouldn't start. Pushed the throttle to full and cranked up in 2 pulls. So the instructions, I think, are a little bit erroneous there about turning the throttle up 1/3 when you first start it. Looks to me like you need to push the throttle fully open. All right, here it goes. Going to crank it up, and so here we go. Throttle full, chokes open because it's warm. Let's see what happens. I'm using a 15-degree tip. Crank right up, first pull. It's even taking some paint off, which is kind of what I wanted it to do, get some of that loose paint off. Also wanted to get high up there, so that's why I used the smaller tip. It's definitely got some power. So, machine runs good. Of course, I've got my new hose. Had to buy a new hose because the hose they give you is rinky-dink. It's got some power. It's got some bad mildew on it there. Alright, the machine works good. I'm happy with the machine. Okay, well, it works pretty good. The zero tip gets up high pretty well. Does a pretty good job getting up to that peak. Wasn't bad. I know you really need 4,000 PSI to really get up there real good, but it did a pretty good job. Saved me from getting up on the ladder. Cleaned everything pretty good. Doesn't look too bad. There's still little mildew stains, but it got all the dirt off, but it's just the cleaning solution didn't get all the mildew off real great, but it did good. It did good. I'm happy with it. Has a lot of power. Worked good. I've just power washed this whole section. Didn't take me long. Motor starts easily, starts well, runs well. I used the zero tip and the 15-degree tip for the most part. You got to be very careful with those zero tips. They will shoot a hole in the wall real quick, so you got to back away when you use that thing. I recommend being very familiar with power washers before you use the zero tip, unless you're very far away. Don't get close with that zero tip. It'll shoot a hole right through the wall. That thing is an injector. Anyway, I'm happy with it. Everything's going good, and I would say it's worth the money to get a 3600. Get that extra pressure. You know, if you can afford a 4000, that's really the best. I do like this machine. It's pretty light. I can load it and unload it by myself pretty easily. It's not heavy at all, and it's easy to load and unload in the truck. And so I'm very happy with it. And so I would recommend it. It's $700, and then when you got to buy the hose, that's going to be an $800 investment. But it was worth it to me, and I definitely, you know, if you're a painter, you definitely want 3600 PSI. You know, 32 is okay, 3000's okay. It'll work okay, you know, but get that extra oomph and you'll be glad you did. All right, well, that's my review of the Simpson 3600 pressure washer. I just got it at Lowe's. I got the hose and fittings. I got the hose at Lowe's. Fittings had to go to Home Depot. It was crazy. Anyway, good luck. Happy power washing, and hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you. Okay, I power washed this whole house in less than 6 hours. used less than 2 gallons a tank. Did this by myself. Power wash this whole thing in, I'd say 5 hours. And it's a pretty big house. So worked pretty good for me. I'm happy. Worked good. I've seen some people say about power washers, oh, it guzzles gas. I don't know, man. I used probably 1.5 gallons. And I had a 2-gallon can, and it was plenty. Worked great. I don't think it guzzled gas. And had good results with the 25 degree, 15 degree, and the 0 degree. But the 0 degree I used to get way up there. It worked pretty good. 25 degree worked real good on pretty much everything else, but I used the 15 degree here and there. But the tips change out quick and easy. I can stop spraying for 30 seconds and be okay. You always want to keep cool water going through the pump as much as possible. I was able to change out tips. It turns off and it starts right back up pretty easily. No sweat. Motor works good. Everything worked good. So that's Simpson 3600 PSI machine. Now they have one with a Kohler engine, but it's like 3200 PSI. I hear the Kohler engine is a pretty good engine. The Honda engine sure worked good. Pretty quiet, didn't vibrate terribly. It was not bad. Very lightweight, easy to move around. Handle is a little bit low, but they could have made the handle a little bit longer, but not that big a deal. So anyway, everything went well and knocked it out. So I would recommend that one, Simpson 3600. I got mine at Lowe's, cost $700, but I had to buy another hose and some fittings, so that was $100. So altogether, I've got $800 in this thing, but I think it's gonna be a great tool to have. All right, thanks a lot for watching.